I am James, and this is Gimmerish FM. Welcome to a special little series I'm putting together of just a few podcasts to celebrate the release of my short film, Normal People, which is to be broadcast on ABC2 here in Australia, which was sort of its purpose. And to celebrate that, I thought I'd release a series of podcasts that interview some of the people that helped get the film made. Just a bit of a backstory. I made this film at the very end of 2015 and the very start of 2016. And now at the start of 2017, it's going to be aired on ABC, the second channel, the standard definition kids channel, but it's late at night because it sort of has adult themes. This short film, Normal People, it's about a girl who goes to a party dressed as a panda and meets a man dressed as a penguin, and things happen, as they do. And yes, it was funded by Screen Australia and FTI Western Australia, and it was intended to screen on ABC, and they finally got around to doing it. So that's what is happening. If you're listening to this right now as we released, I should let you know that you can actually, if you're in Australia, you can watch the actual official screening of the show Friday the 13th of January 2017 on ABC2 at 10 p.m. The film cut they're showing is only less than 8 minutes long, so make sure you get in because it'll start just after 10 p.m. and will be over by 10:20 p.m. easily. So don't miss it. Although I think will be airing on ABC iView, the catch-up service, for the 2 weeks after. So some of these podcasts will possibly be released during that window as well. However, ABC2 is a very standard definition, very low quality broadcaster, so is ABC iView. So, if you've got one of those little boxes that measures ratings, please go ahead and watch it on ABC2. But otherwise, feel welcome to wait until you get to see the film in, really high quality. We shot the film in 4K. So, yeah. You can possibly, if you know how to email me, you can email me and ask for a screener. If you urgently need to see it before we send it out to festivals. But anyway, I wanted to do this little podcast series leading up to the release on TV, the broadcast on TV. And the first person I have put up tonight is Claudia. Claudia is an actress from Perth. She just plays a bit part in the movie, but she sort of the first supporting actress in the film. But she made a big impression during the auditions. She really worked hard to get her spot. And so it was really cool to get to know her in this podcast. We get to know her background and what she does creatively, not just in acting but elsewhere with dancing and whatnot. So yes, please enjoy getting to know Claudia. Hi Claudia.
Hello.
Welcome to Gimmerish FM.
Wow.
This is my radio station, my podcast.
That's awesome. Hello.
This is a part of my series going behind the scenes of my short film that I made last year called Normal People, where I interview the people that help make normal people.
Right.
Because they're anything but normal.
That's definitely true.
Tagline.
I like that.
Claudia was one of the... Well, you only had a bit part.
Yeah, she was the bestie, but it was only a little,
Yeah. But you made a big impression.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad.
Claudia, how did you come to be on Normal People? Where were you born?
Where was I born? What?
Let's go back.
No.
I mean, like the complete history.
Yeah, right. So, going way back when, I was born here. It's pretty boring.
Perth.
Yeah.
We are in Perth.
We are in Perth,
right
yes. So I was born on the West Coast, but my family's Italian. Mm-hmm. Both parents born in Italy.
Oh, right.
So first generation Aussie.
Wow.
But yeah, a very European family.
So do you speak Italian?
Poco poco. So just a little bit. It's very slang kind of. So it's our dialect where we're from, and it's a even more slang version of that
Yeah.
But I can understand it a lot more than I can speak it. In fact, I can pretty much, if they're not too fast, I can pretty much understand everything.
Like if you're watching an Italian movie like a Fellini film or something, you turn the subtitles off.
I'd probably know enough. There'd be bits where I'm like, wait, oh, but I could
Would you
get the gist.
keep the subtitles on?
I would, but I probably wouldn't read it really. It'd just be there for backup.
Okay.
But that sometimes can also be frustrating because I can't answer, even though I know what has been said.
So you don't speak it at home then?
No, we kind of grew up with it. Like my parents would be going in and out of Italian and English, and we spoke it at family dues. Again, being the dialect. So they're from Calabria, so Calabrese. And I guess that's what sort of stuck with me. But as I gotten older, we stopped speaking it as much. I did go to Italy though, maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, that went fast. And I was surprised how much I kind of retained and could. I probably picked up while I was there as well. So
Yeah.
if I did a big stint, who knows?
And did you go home? Got back to their home where your parents were from?
Well, not on that trip. We had previously, because they're both from really small little towns.
Yeah.
Not much is really happening there, but there are some extended family still living in the areas. So yeah, we did when I was with my parents, but this was this trip. I didn't go back to those exact spots.
Do you like have do you do a lot of Italian stuff?
I do so much Italian stuff.
Yeah.
So we have the sauce day, where we make the sauce.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
And then there's...
And you've had to learn that? Is it a recipe that you pass on?
Yeah, I guess so. But it's like, it never felt like
Or it's the process that's...
Yeah, it's just, naturally I learnt it growing up, watching my nonna and my mum sort of thing. So it wasn't like a chore. And now I could definitely pass it on. I think it never tastes like nonna's sauce. Though.
Yeah.
That's the best.
That's the thing, isn't it?
But I'm sure if you had it, you'd still think it was pretty good. I hope.
Yeah, my grandmother makes this casserole that, she literally like sends down the ingredients to shop before she comes over there, before she makes it. So we know exactly what's in it. But then when my dad and my sister try and replicate it, it doesn't taste as good for some reason.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? And you might do the exact thing that they said, but it just isn't quite the same.
Although I heard recently that you don't use olive oil in cooking, like you don't never heat it up. So if you want to heat up some oil, you have to use canola or vegetable oil or something like that.
I think different dishes.
This is a friend came on and was he went to Italy and came back as like, stop with that olive oil. Yeah, you use that cold or you don't use it at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are some dishes I'd still use olive oil, but yeah, I think sometimes it's not necessary and it's maybe a bit heavy. Yeah. Lately, this is really naughty, but I've been using a lot of like butter to cook with.
Okay.
It just makes everything that bit creamier. I quite like that.
Well, it's back in, isn't it?
Is it?
They gave it the tick now.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Every couple of years,
One step ahead.
Butter's bad, and then 2 years later,
now
it's like,
that's
it's
all
great.
you should eat. Yeah. Well, that's excellent because that's exactly what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you put it in your coffee?
No.
No.
That is where I draw the line.
Phase.
No. But I mean, sometimes just a blob in a glass and microwave that. It's quite good.
And just drink it.
I'm just kidding. But it's nice to know you're listening.
Okay. Sometimes I do tune out. And then I re-listen when I'm editing. I'm listening to back. I'm like, oh, God.
What was that about? Yeah.
What about... Okay, where do you go to school then?
So, well, I went to primary school at St. Kieran's, which is in...
Private?
Yes. Well, it was a little Catholic school with a nice navy and white uniform. Yep. And then high school was Sacred Heart in Sorrento. Mainly
is north of the river?
North, yeah. Near the beach. It was a great spot. It was
Hillary's.
beautiful. mainly because it had a performing arts
Okay.
sort of program. So,
So you were into performing
yeah, way back.
from day 2.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much when I was 3, actually, it
3?
started.
Yeah.
So,
Did you do like classes
yeah. So
in primary or like after school?
before, like, I started dancing when I was 3.
Yeah.
Literally. I was very shy, surprisingly. And the only thing that I did would be if we went to the shopping mall and there was music on, I'd actually dance around. And if I saw a stage, I'd make my way onto it. So Mum was like, this is so weird because she's so shy, yet she does stuff like this. So I might put her into dancing. And that's how
Okay.
that started.
Yeah.
And then I've kind of just stuck with it ever since. I really loved it. And little things with, I suppose, acting and performing, although that was a little bit later, I would just entertain people at the doctor's surgery.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thing. And
Why at the doctor's surgery?
I don't know.
Is your
I guess there were
family work there?
a lot of people. No, I don't know.
You just walk down
a
the
lot
street
of
to the
people
doctor's
just
surgery and said,
waiting.
I'm going to put on a
Like,
show.
too many people are waiting and
Yeah.
there's nothing going on. And also, like, I'd visit my great-granddad who was in an old people's home. That was
Okay.
another great spot to entertain. So another Claudia show would happen there. And then just Sunday lunch at Nonna's with the fam.
Yeah.
I'd, like, come back in with, like, Nonna's cane and a hat and be something.
Yeah.
So that would just sort of happen. So it was there, but I didn't probably start acting more professionally till a bit later. But dancing my whole life.
Are you, so what, you call yourself a dancer actor or an actor dancer?
Ooh, well, it's hard.
I mean, passion-wise, I'm not talking about money or anything.
No. Dancing's like been my life, literally, and it is definitely a passion and I love it. But I think my heart does lie with acting, I must say. I think, that is
Yeah.
my kind of calling, maybe.
Yeah.
What I feel like I was meant to do. But it's really great to be able to express myself through dance as well, and just still doing something so creative, and I do really enjoy that too.
So you've just been, since your mum put you in, you've been doing dance classes.
Yep, dance classes. I was at the
Until
Johnny
you-
Young Talent School.
Oh, right.
So at the age of about 10, I think, was when I started auditioning for, like, they had classes called Troops.
Yeah.
And if you got into Troops, you got to perform and do shows, like, on the school holidays and stuff in the city or at shopping centres. So I did audition once and didn't get in, which was a bit of a heartbreak at the age of
wow.
10. But then on my second try,
Did you get feedback? Did you change things up?
You know what actually happened? I started just going, like, learning all the routines and looking in on all the classes to the point where I knew everything, and the teacher was like, oh, you're actually really keeping up, and how about you just continue doing the class? So I didn't really re-audition. I just kind of...
Just like
I
kept the pressure on. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
She's like, God, just let her in.
Yeah, well, she knows it so well. Actually, I overlooked her.
Yeah.
I think I was really shy at the audition, but then they saw a side of me that, I could actually...
They can make a movie about you, like a classic 80s dance movie
They
about
really
you.
could.
Yeah.
They really could. And luckily, I was kind of a cool kid.
Yeah.
I was the leg warmer, kind of wrap around
Yeah.
top gal.
I don't. So was this in the 90s? I don't know how old you were.
It was definitely the 80s
In the 80s?
into the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you would have had curly shoelaces.
But at the age of 10, it was early 90s.
Okay. And
yeah.
like bloomers.
Bloomers, yeah, very much
I was
so.
something that came up the other day. I was like, I remember just girls when bloomers came out, even though they were an old thing, but they obviously came into fashion in our primary school.
Yeah.
And the girls came to school, it's like, yeah, check out my bloomers.
Yeah, and I'm allowed because they're bloomers.
Yeah,
like,
and they're not
doesn't matter.
underwear.
Yeah, but really, I mean, they were full of brief, I'll give them that, but they were pretty much still undies. In fact, we had bloomers that went with our sport uniform. If you wore the skirt, like, you needed to wear the navy blue bloomers.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. It's
Yeah.
part of the uniform.
I just remembered that, yeah.
So they weren't cool then, because they were part of the uniform.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Just meant we could do cartwheels,
Yeah, I think he had to buy the girls. You know, eventually the phase they got in trouble, and they became so popular throughout the school that they were like, you can only wear bloomers if they're the same color as the uniform.
Okay. Because
They
they
had
were
to
like,
crack down
so
because
they
they had
were
like
really living on the edge
green
there.
and fluoro yellow ones,
Whoa.
and whoa,
See,
you know.
okay. We're rebels. Right.
Okay, and so when did you start acting?
So probably high school.
Like you took theatre or?
Yeah, so the productions at our school were quite big, like on a large scale. The teachers were great, and as I said, it was a performing arts kind of school, so it was a bit of a big deal. And they'd always do mainly Year 12 productions, but they allowed every year level to audition for kind of side characters, I suppose. And I was Year 9, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to do it. And we did West Side Story, and I actually ended up getting quite a good role, which was crazy because only like 3 of us Year 9s even got a part.
Yeah.
And I happened to get like a pretty good role.
Yeah.
So that was probably my first real taste of.
And did you audition for that because there's dancing in West Side Story?
No,
or
well,
because you wanted
I think I just liked the whole idea of
performing.
Yeah. And I mean, as I said, from the age of probably 10, I was performing professionally and had like a little side job on the school holidays.
Yeah.
So,
and what was that like, dancing?
Yeah,
like
that
you
was
go
mainly
to events and
dance. But they were shows that you put together. So there was definitely an element of acting and performing and characters within that dancing and movement. It wasn't just like, dancing to a song.
Yeah.
And we did little productions at the end of your showcases. We'd done Oliver and stuff like that. So I had definitely performed. And I guess I thought, oh, well, I'm going to bring it to school too. Who said this has to be an out of school thing?
Yeah.
And then, but it was a big deal because I was 14 and, they were all in Year 12. So it was sort of like, whoa.
Oh, right.
It was pretty cool. And that was awesome. That just cemented it. I was like, yep, this is great. This is what I want to sort of be doing.
Did you have to like audition to get into this school, or was it just you just went there?
Yeah, they, you had those sort of interviews and they liked to see, especially if you wanted to be involved in that side of things, I think they liked to see what you were doing out of school. But no, we didn't have to audition. Funnily enough, I was playing clarinet in primary school. So, yeah, I think my hopes was to move up to saxophone. I don't know why I had this random little thing that I wanted to do. And I had auditioned for a few scholarships at other schools.
Perth Mod?
Yep, Perth Mod, Churchlands, 2 others, I can't remember now. And I'd pretty much gotten into most of them. And I didn't really mind. But then we found out about Sacred Heart and the performing arts side. So I was like, yeah, I don't know, just kind of, my parents were like, oh, that would be way more up her alley. And
what are you going to do with a clarinet, really?
I know. And I mean, the thing is, so I wanted to do saxophone for some reason. I wanted to be some little jazz musician. And every single school wanted me to move from clarinet to like trombone or something like that. And I was like, see, no, this is not the plan I had in mind.
I played saxophone.
You did?
Yeah. I know. I was
My
in
dream.
like this. My school was so small we didn't have a band, so I had to go to the next school over, and play in their band, which was really scary because you didn't know any of the other kids in that school. But you did get out of your school, so you felt kind of really cool because you got to leave class. Oh, I'm going to band practice.
Of course. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, so I think high school kind of gave me a bit of a taste, and then from there I remember there being these acting classes on the weekend. It was through Actors Management, which was an agency which is now RGM, I think, actually.
Yeah.
And they would hold these acting classes on Saturdays. So my best friend and I started going to those, which was more film-based.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of gave me my love for film acting, which then opened a whole nother door.
Yeah. And so you went to... the friend you went with, is that a school friend?
She was a dance friend.
Dance friend, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you guys were like, we should try acting.
Yeah, we were like,
Yeah.
let's try acting.
And you were successful immediately?
Well, no, so we did classes for, say, I don't know, 6 months. I did them the whole year, but probably 6 months in, they wanted to sort of take me on as, like a part of the agency side of things. And I think it was the end of the year that my first audition came up for a short film, the lead of a short film, and I did get the part. And I remember just wanting it so bad and feeling like I could so do this, and I was stoked to get it. And I got a call back, and it was between me and another girl. I remember going to the audition and seeing her, and I was like, oh no, she's really pretty. And she was the total opposite. She had brunette, dark eyes, and but I got the role, and they said that it was because they thought my acting ability was better, because they liked both looks, but they really liked the way I did the part. So I really took that on. I thought that was awesome. And so that was my first sort of film role that made me go, yes, I love this so much. And I think I was 16, turning 17 when that came about.
And so what are you doing? I think I was sitting there trying to think where the first time I saw you in something, and I just don't know. But I think...
Was it a comedy-ish? Was it a film?
I don't know. There's many things. I saw you in this web series called Greenfield.
Yep. Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
And you went to Northam. Is it Northam? Meriden to film that.
We did.
I think you were telling me you guys got shacked up in dormitories and...
Oh, if only. It was like a big old theatre. It was beautiful, actually.
That's right,
it was amazing.
theatre,
yeah. And it was basically bring your sleeping bag. And we were camping in the stadium area. So there were no rooms. However... another actor and myself found like a dressing room attached to a bathroom that we made into our own bedroom. So we had a bit of privacy and felt a bit more like that was our room.
Yeah.
The only thing is, early as 5 a.m, people would have to walk through our room to get to the bathroom. So but it was a little price to pay for
some privacy.
Some privacy, and yeah.
So I'm just going through the stuff that I've seen you in.
Yes.
And I saw you in Love in a Disabled Toilet.
Yes.
Where you played this amazingly passed out woman.
Yes.
But you ended up waking up.
I did.
I was sitting there going, I wonder if that's her whole role.
Is ever going to imagine? Yeah. That would have been quite funny. Yeah.
And actually, that's when I was like, oh... And that's why I remembered you. And then when you auditioned for normal people, I was like, yes, that's the girl who... was unconscious on the floor. I was like, I bet you she's going to be good, and you were.
Oh, that's so cool that you remembered me from that. That's cool.
And also saw you because I was following some girl on Twitter, like a journalist, and she has her own band called
Nylon.
Nylon.
Yes, I'm also part of Nylon. Look at that. Wow.
And so what's Nylon?
Okay, yeah. So Nylon is a 5-piece dancing and singing band.
Yeah.
So, it's always hard to, we don't really want to say band because none of us play instruments.
Yeah.
But in the group anyway. But basically...
Well, you play clarinet, but you're not...
of course. Just not in the, and I try myself out at drums sometimes.
Yeah.
But, so basically we have been lucky enough actually to get some really good gigs. When I look back at all the gigs we've come across.
So it's kind of like a, NSYNC or something where it's just a bunch of people singing?
Sure, singing and dancing. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, people often go, because we're girls, Pussycat Dolls. And not really. But to explain it, I suppose. But I think we're a lot more grungy and maybe, I don't know, indie than...
And so that's an active project?
Yeah, well, we have been on a break recently just because people have been away, but it is.
And so that's like a professional gig, like you get paid to do it?
Yes. So, we've done a few music festivals and we've been lucky enough to get some great supporting...
And so how did that start?
It started with a friend of mine who I've danced with for a long time, just throughout the years. She actually had the idea and... wanted to put this group together. So she also works as a choreographer. Her name's Janelle Vaccaro, and she approached me and said, I really want you to be in it. I think this could really work. And then we auditioned for, because the lead singer, Jerry, who you would have been following.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Also Channel 9 news reporter.
Yeah.
We auditioned her, and she was great. Like, her voice is amazing. And the other two kind of we've worked with before, so that's how it sort of came about. And we really just clicked. We did have another girl in that dropped out, so that didn't quite work, but it turned out better because it sort of was more suited to that style was more suited to us, and we've really stuck it out. It's hard, five girls working together.
Yeah.
Well,
really?
Finding time for rehearsals, and because we all do so many other things, and we all do
busy.
dance.
Yeah.
And we've been lucky enough to sort of see eye to eye on most things, but there's always going to be something where creatively we're like, I don't know. But we've stuck it out.
And do you perform your own songs?
So we mainly do covers, but we do have a few original songs.
And how do you decide? Do you have like brainstorm meetings? It's like, let's
mega brainstorm. Yes, and Jerry is pretty much a songwriter as well. So she kind of always helps get the ball rolling. We've got a few DJ friends who have been lucky enough to sample us some stuff. So I don't think we don't really like to. That's sort of something on the side we like to do. And if we come up with something, we'll put in a set. But mainly we do covers and we make it kind of our own. So like a version stuff, or we'll get like mixes so that we can overlap songs and stuff like that. So
what were your first gigs? Like,
what was our very first thing we did?
Were you going to competitions or?
No, we there were a few little street festivals we put ourselves in. That some our friends were actually running, so we were able to do that. But to be honest, one of our first gigs was Future Music. Like Janelle knew one of the promoters, or she had sort of made contacts with him, and he was like, look, let's see you guys perform. So we got a really early slot, but it was still amazing. And then from there they were like, yeah, you guys are great, and that's how we then got
snowballed.
It sort of snowballed. Anyway, we got another festival from that. And then Janelle and I grew up working at Metro City. On the weekends we used to freestyle dance there. So one of the guys who used to work there still works for Metro, so that's how we got a support act for TLC, which was brilliant.
Wow.
Yes, that was amazing, seeing as I've grown up with them as idols. And 90s chic right there.
That was our TLC Waterfalls was like our year 7 camp theme song, because it was the only tape on the bus, but it just got played over and over, and now I have PTSD about it. And so what else have you been doing? I know you had quite a pretty epic cameo in Da Fuck.
Yes.
A new show you can check out. Is it on iView still?
It is. I think it is still on ABC iView. Yeah.
It's not one of those things that's only for 2 weeks.
No, it's still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was great to work with those guys. They're hilarious. And
have you worked with them before?
No, but I've did audition for their other series, Gavin Tanner.
Yeah.
And a good friend of mine who I worked with on Greenfield is Damo in that show.
Oh, Liam. Yes. Liam and I are like childhood friends.
Awesome. Yeah, he's great. So
that's how I saw Love in the Stable Toilet, which you were in. And I was like,
well, we've been lucky. We've been so lucky to work together a lot, actually. So
and Greenfield, yes.
We worked on Greenfield together at first, and then Love in a Stable Toilet was an accident. Not I got the part, and they did have a part for Liam's role, and it was a East Coast actor, and he couldn't make it, or there was some sort of dramatic scandal with that. And then I turned up to set and Liam's there, and we were like, this is awesome. So, and then obviously through Da Fuck.
It's quite impressive, the differences between, I don't know what it's like for an actor, but the difference between Damo and the character in Greenfield, or
Yep. Or Loving a Disabled and
Yeah.
Damo. I mean, yeah, he's amazing.
Oh yeah, they're all completely different.
Yeah. No, he's so great.
Yeah.
And the way he transformed himself for Damo was just it's great. Awesome. So, yeah, I was really stoked to get to work with Mad Kids.
And so how come you auditioned for Normal People?
Yeah, so
It was
Normal
just- it
People
was
came about.
on Star Now?
I think it
Or
was
something?
actually through Facebook. There was
Okay.
a post about it, and a friend of mine tagged me.
Yeah.
And then I read it, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you didn't give away a lot, but what I could see, I thought, cool.
Yeah.
Emailed Jenna and got an audition slot. And I remember getting that email actually, because I think the auditions were saying a week. And I'm thinking the normal thing is you get a bit of script, have to learn, la la la, and it was like, no, come up with your own monologue, write your own monologue about this one sentence.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, are you kidding? Oh, this is really actually, it was great though, because it sort of was, it was scary and it was a surprise, and I had to really think about it. And
Well, you knocked it out of the park, because I was kind of expecting people to just come up with something really, really simple, and you had a whole...
yeah, I really thought about it. I was
Yeah.
like, I wasn't going to do the whole, let's just improvise on the day. I thought...
And you got the part easily, because you just put so much effort, and it was like good. It was really funny.
Oh, cool.
I think it was the only one that actually made me laugh out loud.
Yeah, that was awesome, because I remember even that room made out of glass was a bit like
Yeah,
it's it's a bit scary. And
it's good because some people find it safer because it's like the security guards can see if people are trying to stab each other in there, but it's also weird because you're performing in front of the whole library in silence.
Totally. I mean, if you're auditioning, and the guy before me who must have gone for the role of the main character,
the penguin.
And because I knew a little bit about the script, I literally looked up briefly and saw him walking around like a penguin, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna zone out, and But and when I first started, I mean, you're always in your own zone anyway, but I remember thinking this could either work and how I thought it would, and hopefully be funny, or it won't work and be awkward. And I think the first couple of minutes, I didn't really feel or get a response from you guys. But having said that, I was in my own head, and then I think I said something, and you both I just saw something, a reaction. So I was like, oh, thank God, at least it's not completely terrible. So that was.
I'm a terrible audience
that
member.
was good.
I have bad body language and.
No, it was good.
Yeah, no, and it was great, and I've obviously spoken to Anna. She did, I definitely knew I wanted you, and then the others I wasn't so sure about, but Anna was like you. She put so much work into it. I was just like, I just want to get her because she's super creative.
Yeah. And I loved her accent. Just on a side note.
And you were saying you've been thinking you met. Is that what you met Eloise on Normal People, or did you know?
Yeah,
her
I met
before?
Eloise on Normal People. Yeah. I think we briefly got chatting in between takes, and she did say she danced or used to dance, or so we kind of established that. Link, because I was like, do I know you? But obviously I'd only ever seen her as a penguin. It's sort of hard to know too much. She looked familiar, but then again she looked like a penguin, so I don't know. But then since Normal People, I did tell her about where I dance, and that I teach classes, and we run an agency class sort of thing, and surprisingly she was at the audition.
So what is that your main source of income, dance classes, or?
Yeah, so mainly it's dance based. So it's teaching and then still performing at corporate functions and stuff. So professionally, then nylon, and then a little bit of retail during the day, mainly just to change it up because I was teaching a lot, and it started to get a little bit draining, and the creative process was being, shot kind of thing. So, and I never want it to be like that because I love it so much. So I dropped a few classes and only stuck to the ones I really love, and I love where I teach, and I love all the classes that I do, and then just to do something different. I also love fashion, and I work at a great little vintage store in Subiaco. I get to buy for the store, and I'm very much involved. It's just the owner and myself, so it's fun.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, mainly dancing.
So what's next?
I'd love to know. There's always something around the corner. And I mean, a quiet time for me is never super quiet. There's always something happening. Usually I will just be focusing more on something. So at the moment it is dancing and classes and shows and stuff like that. Rehearsals for things. Nylon's about to just start sort of getting involved again because we have a few possible shows next month. So that sort of thing. And then hopefully acting work because I just love it. But I've already got ideas for scripts, and I think Eloise and myself are going to catch up and start writing and just filming scenes with friends just to feel active and doing something.
I think it's a good idea.
And yeah, can't wait to see normal people, obviously. And I've got another short film, Icebreaker, that should be coming out in the next few months also. So, yeah.
Well, definitely, I assume Greenfield's still on YouTube.
It is still on YouTube.
You're pretty amazing in that. And
Thank you.
what was that like doing Greenfield? Because it's, I don't know, now that I know you, it doesn't seem anything
Yeah.
like you.
Well, I mean...
was that off the page? Like, did that character come off the page, or did you have to develop it?
I definitely think she developed.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's funny because growing up, if I ever had to do a monologue for something, I'd always be dramatic. I'd always choose a dramatic. Even though naturally I felt like, you know, being like around my friends, I would always be silly and be kind of the clown. I'd always be really dramatic. And then it's only now that I'm able to sort of showcase that a bit more and feel more comfortable doing comedy and stuff. But usually something like my character in Greenfield is what I'd go for.
Yeah.
Having said that, since then, all I've done is sort of comedy roles. So it was really interesting and fun to do, and especially for, you know, based on the type of story that it is. She was great. I went to the audition, and they when they called me to tell me that I got the part, they were like, oh, because I had pink hair at the time. It was quite pink. And they were like, we definitely didn't see that character with pink hair, but then you walked in and did it, and it was like perfect. Like, it was such a great move for her. Like, it's actually really going to work out. So that was good that they saw something. And then definitely she had the most growth, I feel, in the show.
Oh, yeah. I thought she was probably the best character. Like, there was other interesting storylines, but it was funny how your character didn't seem that important. By the end, it seemed like really important.
Yeah,
you know,
and I really liked that slow development that she, and so obviously through that.
That's the cool part of doing a web series, where you've got that sort of time, like you feel like you're evolving.
Yeah.
But have you done any other stuff like that? Like a web series with multiple episodes? No, I'd love to though. I'd really love to, because it's really fun to be able to like get lost into a character and really have that time to develop it, like you said, and learn more about them as you kind of go along. Like it was weird. There were the times where I feel like she kind of took over, and afterwards I was like, I'm still doing things that I feel like she would do. Yeah. But something I found interesting with that whole experience is a lot of the time, although we had a script, somewhat of a script, it was very much improvised. Greenfield?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there were a lot of bits they just, like, I feel like that camera was rolling for so long and I just wanted to hear cut. Yeah. And they just let it go on and on and on. So it was good because, they obviously found some great things in that, and also just we couldn't always understand what they were trying to do. It'd get kind of frustrating, and you'd kind of not be sure if you were doing the right thing, or, you know, I don't know if they even liked what you were doing. But I think they had a little... Did they give you
a goal in it? Saying like, well, she needs this and she wants that?
There was somewhat feedback in between takes, and we obviously knew the basic, you know, scenario, like, or the basic goal of the scene. But I don't know, just there were times we were like, did that work? And they just kind of were happy to move on, or they'd want us to do it again, but we weren't sure why, kind of thing. But I think they had a very distinct way, and they knew what they were doing with that, of how they were sort of directing us and stuff. And they definitely got a lot of emotion from some of the actors through that method, especially with the more kind of hardcore scenes.
Is that crew doing anything else? Like what?
Well, so Daniel Tenney was one of the producers, and he's from Perth, and he worked with Julius Telmer, who's actually Danish at university. So that's how they became friends and stayed in contact. But they live in Copenhagen. So he got two of his friends that he obviously works with over there to come over for the production. So really it's quite split. They're doing lots of stuff over in Copenhagen, and but they don't live here. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a half and half kind of cast.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing. So having, I guess, working with a different nationality, they are often speaking another language, which we found what do you mean you can't do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was just, them just being comfortable, I suppose. But it was hard on set sometimes because we just weren't 100% sure what was going on or what have you. Yeah, they got the job done, that's for sure. Because some of those reactions were really raw and real. Yeah. They were real.
So you're hoping they'll invite you to Denmark?
That would be great.
Yeah, and say, come work on our new project.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be really cool. Hey?
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
No, yeah. Hey, I'm waiting.
And just Love and Disabled Toilet. Who directed that?
Ruben Pracus.
Oh, right. But it was written by
Miley
Tunnicliffe?
Yes.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
And
so her and Jess Black have a little production company.
And Miley was in it.
She was.
And she was the writer. How did they work, her and Ruben, to work together? Was that interesting, or did you not even notice it?
I think they worked really well together, and she was really good at becoming the actress and just trusting that he could deliver what she wanted. And he did definitely. And he always had a reason for it, and she'd more than often agree. There was never an issue, because I remember thinking that. I was like, I wonder if you came up with a character and you came up with a story and you had such a clear vision in your head, if that would become sort of a bit of a conflict. But
and because if it's your production company, you're the boss as well,
of course,
and you're employing this director to direct the movie that you wrote.
Yeah, I know.
And how to keep this separation of church and state. Yeah,
but it really worked. So he must have very much knew what she wanted.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I will definitely I'll definitely put Greenfield in the show notes, and if I can find the fuck on, I don't know if you want that.
It is a different side of.
I won't talk about it because it's worth anyone listening to go see it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
A surprise.
Was that a bit of a surprise?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
But it's a very fun show. Is there anything else? Do you have a public place to plug? To find what you're doing?
Yeah, well, the Green Room Entertainment, that's where I teach dancing and we do classes. You don't have
Claudia.com?
No, I don't have a website.
Twitter
I really need
Instagram
to do that. I do have an Instagram, Claudie, CLAWDI. Follow me, definitely. Yeah. Like all my stuff.
I'll try and put that in the show notes if I can find it.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
I will let you know when I have all those other things.
Sure, yeah, I'll put them in the show notes.
That's a good start.
I'll gather up your stuff since I'm a fan of your work.
Yes, thank you.
But for future stuff, they might have, I don't know, there might be a place where you go like, hey, I'm in this.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it won't take long before something else comes up.
Yeah.
That you can see me in. Let's hope.
Well, thanks for being part of the Normal People behind the scenes. Intimate profiles.
Thank you for having me. Very fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Claudia. Bye.
Good to talk to you, bro.